Joe presents TKO, together with 32 Red.
Welcome to round 26 of TKO on Joe, together with 32 Red. We're a podcast and YouTube show with you every Thursday. As you may or may not know, last Saturday just gone was the year countdown anniversary for the Tokyo Olympic Games. Less than 360 days now to go until the big one. Now, GB, historically, and we're in the EIS in Sheffield, have had a lot of success the last three games. 3 medals in Beijing, 5 in London, 3 more in Rio. And one man who's been a staple part of the success on amateur international level, but has had to wait patiently in the wings for his shot at both a World and an Olympic Games, is the man that I'm very pleased to say is joining me today, big Frazer Clarke. Now, if we go to our wide shot, you will be able to see Frazer's big fat foot, because you've just turned your ankle in a sparring session.
No, I did it this morning.
Oh, did you do it this
morning?
morning?
I was running and sort of shook it off, and I've just finished sparring. I took my boot off and my foot's just like...
And it's blown up?
Blown up, yeah.
So it's not the most pleasing thing, but as you say, you're the best heavyweight, best looking heavyweight on the planet, so we'll just focus on the face and not the foot.
That's it.
So you've been sparring with Mr. Joshua, who's back in the gym this week?
Yeah, but I won't say back in camp, but he's back in the gym, you know, working on a few things and just getting his bearings.
Yeah.
You know, we did 10 rounds of tech sparring, you know, just get back in there, get the feel for it. It's my first time back in sparring for 5-6 weeks, so you know, it was good to look at the rounds. And
so you came back from European Games in Minsk. I didn't quite go your way out there, but the last 12 months you've had a great 12 months. Obviously, Commonwealth Games gold in summer last year. We'll get to all of that, but I want to kind of go back to the beginning of your journey, because the last 10 years have been a hell of a roller coaster, and I sort of feel as if you're not only the best kept secret in amateur boxing. I feel as if you've had to probably be the most patient man in boxing, because you have been on this squad for 10 years now.
Yeah.
So you first walked in the door, you're 27 now, 17.
Oh, I was literally just turned 17, yeah.
Yeah.
Came in, can remember it was just a big joke to me, to be honest. I just thought, you know, what am I doing here? I didn't quite understand what I was coming into. Came on a trial, 17-year-old, was put into groups. I can remember it was just me, a little chubby 17-year-old, surrounded by these big butch 25, 26, 27-year-old men, deep voices, beards, a lot. I got chucked straight in the deep end, and lucky enough, a few weeks later, I got a letter through the post saying, you know, do you want to join us full time? Bit of a difficult choice at the time, because obviously I was working, just got an apprenticeship, but you know, I told Mum and Dad, I said, look, I don't really enjoy what I'm doing. I may as well go and do something I enjoy to see where it goes. Wow,
and here we are 10 years later.
Here we are 10 years later.
Very much the dad of the squad. And I guess for people who don't follow the amateur side of the game, a lot of professional fans, but the amateur game's a tricky one, because to all of the big international tournaments, you only send one person for each weight. Now for you, really, I would say you've been consistently in the top 5 in the world for the best part of 7 or 8 years, but every single year of those 7 years, either Anthony Joshua or Joe Joyce has been probably the number 1 or 2 in the world.
Yeah.
So it must be very frustrating for you to not be able to kind of show what you've got to offer and test yourself at those major internationals. When you first got here, at what point did you realise, okay, I'm going to be second fiddle to AJ in the build-up to 2012? Did you kind of accept that spot was his, and was that really nothing that you didn't consider competing for that spot at that point? Well,
I'd boxed Joshua in 2011. No, 2010, I think it was. On a club show, amateur show, you know, small all things, sort of crazy, everyone full of everyone full of beer and whatnot, and we had a right set to, like, you know, one of them that people still talk about it to me now, you know, when they see me, and he beat me, it was on points, really close, and I knew from there, I thought, you know, there's not many people that can get in there and do that to me. At that stage, I was beating everyone, so I knew he was going to be good then, and then before I knew it, he was walking through them doors over there, and that's when I thought, you know what, this is someone who's a bit special, and he's going to be very difficult to compete with, let alone knock off the perch, sort of thing. And it became very apparent very soon that the speed in which he was picking up, you know, the amateur game, the international amateur game was quite scary. And then he went to the World 2011 and got to the final, which was just like, you know, I didn't expect him to go there and do that, to be honest. But he took it all in his stride and he got there. So I knew it'd be second fiddle, but I didn't mind it because I wasn't ready to go to London. I could have gone there and, you know, gone for the experience and maybe maybe nicked one fight and lost to one of the experienced guys in the other. But no one wants to really go. You don't want to go to the Olympic Games in your home country just to experience it. I hate losing, and I wasn't ready to be. I wasn't ready to be an Olympian, to be honest. I was just chucked in at the deep end and just worked with what I had.
Of course, the other guy that was here was Big Joe Joyce up until 18 months ago, and I can remember the first time I ever saw you. I think was you versus him, and I think you boxed on like 3 times in the space of a year. It was like ABA final both years, and then maybe GB championships
in between. Yeah.
And I think the bouts got closer as kind of time went on. I think he beat you like 36-37.
Yeah, we had some great fights, me and Joe, and it was always. No, I just couldn't beat him. If I'm honest, I just couldn't seem to. I don't want to say bogey man because I believed as time went on I was getting better. But a very fit and strong man, as everyone knows, and he's over 3 threes. He's there for every second of the fight, and his strength and his fitness always came through.
He seems like that over 12 as well now, which is pretty remarkable. Obviously, he's just got that win over Bryant Jennings, and he's having to be fast-tracked because he's kind of in his, almost in his mid-30s now. People maybe don't realise how difficult an opponent he is to beat. And I know sometimes technically he doesn't look like the best. He's not got the quickest hands in the world. He sometimes looks a bit ploddy, but you've been in there. Just talk to me about what it's like to spar Joe when he's on a 10.
No, I think it's so funny. You know what people say about, he's stiff, he's robotic, he's this, he's that. Joe Joyce is a fantastic fighter, and you can ask anyone from amateur boxing, pro boxing. It might be one thing to look at, but getting in the ring with him, he's a hard work for anyone because he's relentless, and 90%. I think when you think about heavyweight boxing, for me, usually the fit ones win. That as a rule, I'd say over the last 10 years, the guys that are fit and strong win, and he's got that in abundance, and he's coming forward with straight shots, and he's gone away and he's working with Adam Booth now, and he's been with Abel Sanchez. He's picked up little things from all over. He's a bit of a wildcat, Joe, so he picks up things. He is actually getting better, but strong defence, lets his hands go, fast, strong. I won't say concussive puncher, but very thudding and constant. And he's going to be hard work for anyone in world boxing, I believe. His defence isn't the best. He takes a few too many, but he's got a granite chin, which I've seen it tested many times in amateurs, many times in the pros already. To be honest, I think most of the fights he has, I think he probably concedes the first round or maybe the first 2 because he takes a few shots. But once he warms into it, he's a hard man to stop. The Juggernaut is the perfect name because. Literally, he just keeps coming, and you've got to be a real puncher to put Joe down.
So after Joshua turned over, 2013, it's pretty much you and Joe as to vying for the 1 and 2 spots. There were a number of qualifying routes for the Olympic Games. You've got obviously the European qualifier, which Joe went to, the WSB, 2 or 3 other tournaments as well. Obviously, you've got your eyes set on those, but it is difficult to get a look in because ultimately, as we know, they're only sending one of you to these major tournaments. So Joe gets sent to 2013 Worlds, 2015 Worlds, Commonwealth Games. How do you keep yourself motivated when you know that you could beat the majority of the guys at that tournament?
Do you know what it is, Chris? Deservedly so, before it's happened, deservedly so. Joe beat me 4 times in our whole thing. One of them got stopped because I had an injury. But he had 4 wins over me, so deservedly so he got sent to all them tournaments before me. But if I'm honest, I really enjoyed the chase. To Rio. I'd say that was the best form I was in my whole career so far. Chasing Joe Joyce, having someone in front of me who I can compete with on the runs, compete with in strength and conditioning, compete with in the ring, in sparring. It was something that every day, maybe now, and just being really honest, like the times now when obviously being the front runner, being the number 1 at the minute. I've had to really pick myself up over the last couple of months because I'll be honest. I got comfortable. I got comfortable, and it's only from the European Games waking me up and letting me know that there's people coming through. If you really want to change your life, which I do, I have to pick things up. So when I was chasing Joe, it was always staying in bed and snoozing that alarm wasn't an option because I know Joe wasn't doing that. I know Joe.
You know that alarm's going off. Joe's sitting up like Frankenstein.
Yeah, and he's getting up
road.
and he's running fast. So it was really good to be chasing someone. It was really good to cut him down. I was trying my best, and I believe, you know, I'm not sure, you'd have to speak to the coach. I think I got pretty close. You know, I had my best form from probably 2014 to 2016. You know, I won everything. I won.
You got a European gold in 14, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I beat Tony Yoka in the EU finals. Every tournament I went to like 7 tournaments on the bats and won gold in every tournament.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's different because you're going to those tournaments, things like the Box Eye and the Strandja and the GB tournament.
Really difficult tournaments.
Golden Belt in Romania. Yeah, really tough, but a lot of them aren't televised. So you're getting medals here, but people...
No one knows.
Unless they know you're boxing and they're looking for results. I mean, obviously I was at the time because I was following you guys, but a lot of people will go, I wouldn't know who that was, wouldn't know what they'd won. And it's really the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics which are your window to the world.
Exactly.
Which is why I feel you've gone under the radar for so long.
Yeah, the thing is, like I say, with me and Joe, I was winning, but so was he. And with him already being there, I was going like that. The gap was forever. You know, it was always close, but it wasn't getting no closer because we was both in such great form. I mean, to have, I think it was 2015 to 2016, to have two lads off the same squad in the top 10 of the world, which me and Joe was. I think Joe was like number 5 and I was number 7 or 8. You know, super heavyweights. I don't know no other country that has that.
No, agreed. And obviously Joe was on that brilliant run of form in the World Series boxing. I think the only person to beat him was Usyk in sort of 12 or 13.
Usyk, and then he had a real stinking decision, which would have qualified him for the Olympics, to Maximum Babin, the Russian guy.
Because he had to win one more, didn't he? And he didn't get it, so he had to go to the European qualifier.
Which I can remember sitting in my nan's house, you know, oblivious to her. She just supports it was on TV, so she supports any GB boxing. So she's there screaming at the TV, go on, Joe. I'm sat there like...
You're like, he's literally taking my spot in front of my very eyes. My nan's celebrating.
My nan's celebrating. So I can remember at the end of round 2, he'd won 2 rounds. I knew it was... I literally walked out the door, went over the road to my house. I can remember walking into the... my dad's got like a little bar shed at the back of the garden. I can remember sitting in that shed, whiskey was out, like a depressed old man sat there,
yeah.
And then the phone call started coming to me. You know, what? Fair play to everyone. I think within about 20 minutes of Joe boxing, I had a phone call off Rob, and it was like, "Look, Frazer, I know you're in a bad place right now. I understand. You know, the coaches are here, and you won one of the. As soon as Joe qualified, one of the first names that got mentioned was you because you know we knew how bad you wanted it.
Yeah.
So you know, it was a real difficult time, but. You know, a real learning curve. Taught me a lot about myself in that period.
What I thought was amazing was, I don't know if you remember, you came down to London and we went to, there was the Muhammad Ali exhibit at the O2, and you came down to that, and I didn't know whether you would be there or not because obviously it was the unveiling of these are the qualified Olympians so far, and it was Buatsi and Joe and Nico Adams, and you went straight up to Joe and you gave him a big hug and you said, "Well done, big man, congratulations." And I remember we talked and. It was a difficult time for you, but you somehow, and this is what I always say to people, if you want to know what sort of man Frazer Clarke is, to make the conscious decision, because you didn't have to go to Rio and be his sparring partner to give him the best chance of getting a medal when he had taken your place that you worked for. I just remember thinking that's one of the most noble things I've ever seen anybody do. But how hard was that decision to make for you?
Not very, to be honest, not very hard. One thing about, you know, you have all sorts of different characters in this squad. So two lightweights might never talk to each other. 2 middleweights never talk to each other. Won't even walk past each other in the corridor. With me and Joe, I grew a massive respect for him. Yeah. You know, for what he did. I mean, I'll say he had basic skills, but you know, for someone to have basic skills and be able to do what he used to do to opponents, I couldn't do nothing but applaud it. So you know, I never had no animosity towards Joe. I always supported him, you know, I always said hello, we always had a chat and even a bit of a crack at it, you know. Obviously there's that rivalry there, so you're not the best of friends, but there was never been a problem with us two. And, you know, Rob come and asked me, he said, "Look, it's the options there, it's up to you." Took me about half a second or so, I said, I'm there. Not just because of that, not just because of Joe. What you got to think is, my brothers were going there, you know, to compete. Kez, Joe, Kelly, Pat, Lawrence, all these fighters, you know, they're all going there to compete at Galal. So how can I forget him? So I just wanted to be with him and around him, and you know, if I could give any sort of positive influence to him while I was over there, And even if that meant, bellowing from the crowd, I was in the crowd every day.
Oh, you flipping were, mate.
I was giving it some.
The BBC were cutting to you every 5 minutes just with the flag and the shades and everything.
Yeah, I was just giving it some, just because I understand, the margins that tight in amateur boxing. If I can be an influence from the outside of the ring, maybe I won't, maybe I wasn't, maybe I was, but if I could scream in that judge's ear every time that one of my friends landed and it give him 1% of swaying, that was a close round, that could be the difference. Me there bellowing, it's just human nature, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to do that. And other than that, it was a good experience, It let me get in the village, it let me get in the stadium, and it made me think, right, the next one is mine. Yeah, the next one is mine. Ultimately, when you get to the Olympics, what I did realise was it's just a boxing ring in a hall. It's the same as everything else, but that feeling of this is the Olympic Games, you're representing Great Britain. That's what I want. That's what I want. So, and that's why I went out there. I got the feel for the Olympic Games.
Who out of the team impressed you the most in those games?
Josh Boatsy, without a doubt.
Knocking everyone out like we've never seen. Really,
I knew he was good. From the second I seen Josh, I knew he was good in the ABAs. The year I boxed Joe, I think it was 2013. Yeah. I knew he was going to be a good fighter. And then he came in, and some people just have that special something about him. They've got little bits of everything, and I could see him in. I could see Evander Holyfield in him. I could see Larry Holmes in him. I could see. I'm talking about heavyweights here because that's what I go back to. But I could see little bits of Roy Jones. I could see everything in Boatsy. And from the first bat, I think who did he box first?
Kennedy Kitenge from Uganda.
People said he was an old man.
Yeah, he was an Olympian though, wasn't he? Yeah.
But he was a very experienced fighter, and the way he dissected him, I said, once he wins his first one, he's going to be a hard man to stop. And he boxed three southpaws, three good southpaws in that Olympic Games out of 4 bats. And it's just the way Boatsy is. He impresses me not just as a boxer, but as a person. He's one of the most honest, loyal person I've ever met. He's got a great head on his shoulders, but at the same time he can get through the ropes. I often say to people, he's a savage. He is an absolute savage, and he's got every shot in the book. Power shot, powerful man. I wouldn't want to be on the receiver. I wouldn't want to be a light heavyweight. Have
you ever sparred him?
Never.
You joked about it, didn't you?
We've been talking about it we still talk about it now. Yeah. We still talk about it. I want it. I want to see what the hype's about.
I'd quite like to see that.
I'm sure we will. Yesterday, I nearly got a chance to. There was he wanted to do more rounds, and I was on the bag. I overheard. I said, can I jump in? But I think the coaches know that we're going to have a right little step to because we've got a bit of competition. You know what I mean? No, but Josh Boatsy in them Olympic Games, he was fantastic. And obviously, Nicola Adams, she was that impressed me the way that. She's already won at London, and she went there and she just dominated. She has the aura. She had the aura about her, and I noticed it from just being around the village. She had the aura about her amongst the other women boxing. They don't want to box her. They want to have a photo with her. They know that she's that good, and it was just really impressed me about Nicola was the build up to the games. Like I didn't honestly see her too much in 2016. The build up to the, she was away working. She was doing her work. I think she did a bit of the Ingle gym and this and that. She wasn't in this gym too much. When it comes to the Worlds and the Olympics, she just turned it up a level, and you just think that is why you are what you are.
There's of course a chance that she could come back under the rules and defend her title if she wanted to. And we know she's just been promoted to full WBO champion following that decision by the WBO.
Yes, it's really confusing.
It's a strange decision. Obviously, great news for her, but obviously it'd be nice to see her fight for it. But ultimately, she's still doing well. And then obviously you've come back from Rio, so we get 3 medals there. Obviously the 3 of them have got their posters up on the wall: Joe, Boatsy, and Nicola. So I guess for you that's even more kind of imperative to see those on the wall and think that could be me in 4 years' time now. Yeah,
I mean it's crazy to think, and people might not understand, but. I've been looking at these faces for 10 years. The medal will be lovely. Ultimately, the goal is to have my face in this gym so someone else can see it. And I want to be able to bring my daughter here after 2020 and say, look, your dad's around the world. It means nothing to her now, but in 20 years, it'll mean the world to her. And like these guys, like, I look on the wall, I see Richie Woodward, I see him every day, Robert Reed, Larison, Amir Khan, James DeGale, David Price. Like for instance, David Price, people are giving him stick and this and that about his pro career. He's an Olympian. He's won a medal for. Like, is that much more difficult. To get these medals, for me, is more difficult than to go and win titles. There's that many titles in the pros now. Come on, there's so many Mickey Mouse titles everyone's winning. It's embarrassing, but there's not many people that can say they've got a picture on this wall. No. Everyone who's got one, you're looking at around here now.
Speaking of your daughter, so she was born, was it end of 2016, beginning of 2017?
Yeah, December the 8th, 2016.
2016. So your daughter was born, and then something like 10 days, 2 weeks later?
Just under 2 weeks.
Just talk me through from top to bottom what on earth happened on that night.
Yeah, so I can remember it really well. I said to my ex-girlfriend at the time, my missus at the time, ex-girlfriend partner, I said, look, tradition sort of thing. I'm going out with the lads, wet the baby's head, as everyone does. It's Christmas. I'm going out, I'll be back later. No, I'd like to say she said no worries. We probably had a bit of a Barney about it, but went out anyway. No, I'm not a big drink. I can't drink to save my life anyway. I'm a lightweight, as they call it. But we're out and we're having a good time and whatnot. We've gone into a local club in Burton-on-Trent where I live. As soon as I walked in, I noticed a group of lads who I know, they're from Derby, which is the next city along. And, you sort of sense a bit of...
There's been something before.
Yeah, there's been something over the years.
And they know what you do.
They know me. I know them, and there's sort of a little bit of this and that. Left it alone. Walked out. Avoided them all night. I can remember it was like the last 20 minutes before the club closed. Obviously, everyone's had a bit too much at this time. I've walked past, and we ended up. I don't know if I knocked a drink or something like that. We've ended up in a bit of an altercation, just a bit of verbals. Before you know it. I'm throwing punches, they're throwing punches, there's bottles, chairs, whatever. It's going off basically, you know what I mean? Which I thought, this is normal to me. I do this every day, not a problem, you know what I mean? It's 5 or 6 lads, I'm getting stuck in. I was on my own, all my friends are outside. Then the next thing, I've gone outside, it's all sort of coming, I walked outside, I can remember seeing one of the girls I know from Burton. She just looked at me and I seen the look in her face, she just went, like a ghost, and she just screamed. I'm saying, what's up? She says, your neck. I said, what do you mean? So as I got closer to her, I can remember seeing blood squirting out my neck. I thought, oh, fuck's sake, what's happened? Sorry.
No, that's fine. Your language is...
Yeah, so...
Because you've got your jugular vein.
So that was the worst fear. So initially, obviously I'm bleeding, people are concerned, and then obviously the worry was the neck. I got stabbed in the neck.
Because you were stabbed elsewhere, weren't you?
Yeah, and then a couple of minutes later I realised, I'm feeling a bit faint here, and I felt the warm down my leg, twice in the leg, and I had a couple of cut on top of my head, from bottle and stuff like that. So it was dangerous time. It was bad and it was unfortunate. A little confrontation fight turned into something stupid like that, and I managed to get myself to the hospital. It just wasn't nice, I seen my mum came up, she was crying. I wasn't in the best ways. I was angry, so I was having to be calm down and restrained. And my dad was there, my brother was there, all my friends were there. I had a lot of people that were concerned about me. At the same time, my partner at the time and my daughter are in bed, oblivious to anything, and I was like lying on a hospital bed, and I just remember waking up after that, and I was just in a hospital bed for a few days.
Oh man.
It's one of them things, Chris. You have to really. I got very lucky, but it's a really good learning curve for me. You have to learn to. At that point, where I live, Burton-on-Trent is very small. I consider it the safest place in the world, but the day and age we're in, I don't think you're safe anywhere. So I learnt a lot from it. I took a lot from it, and I'd like to think I've come out wiser. And like I say, this chat now, and I've done a few things in the past, just to make people aware of the situation and what can happen. I mean, I didn't care about anything else at the time, just the fact that my daughter was 2 weeks old, and a couple of inches to the left, a couple of inches to the right, she ain't got a dad no more. Do you know what I mean? So I was very lucky, but like I said, I'm very blessed to be here now.
Okay, you're listening to and watching TKO on Joe together with 32 Red. You can subscribe via the usual channels. We'll pick back up with Frazer in just a few moments' time. But some news for you. These boys are back.
He's always been fresh until the one time I saw him eat a Domino's pizza with a chicken korma on top.
I told you this story.
But he
folded up into one mouthful.
Wait, let's get this really clear. He got a Domino's pizza, put a chicken korma on top of it, put another Domino's pizza on top of it, smashed that, right, and drunk 2 litres of Fanta on it.
1.25 litre of Coke.
Yeah, 1.25 litre of
No,
Coke.
but it was a slice of pizza. No, not a slice of pizza. A whole pizza and a curry. And I don't like wasting food. And I knew that if I left it, it'd go to waste. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to eat this. So I ate all of it.
You did a pizza and a curry and a pizza on top.
No, just one pizza.
Just the one pizza.
But if you halved it and put it on top, it'd probably look like a sandwich.
It was a sandwich. Most people go to sandwich shops. He made a curry pizza sandwich and then washed it down with 1.5 litres of Coke. That's like impressive, isn't it?
You're watching TKO, together with 32 Red.
Alex Payne, James Haskell and the boys from House of Rugby are back for season 2. Good luck, chaps. Hope it's a good one. We are here in the meanwhile at the EIS in Sheffield with big Frazer Clarke. So we're just in the middle of talking about that horrendous night just before Christmas 2016 when you were stabbed. Can you describe to me what the feeling is like of being stabbed? So you're in the neck and then in the leg as well?
Yeah, a punch.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was clueless. I walked out there angry, obviously, but I didn't have a clue what had happened. I think that was to do adrenaline and alcohol. I couldn't feel nothing. And it was only when I'd realised, my leg was warm and covered in blood, and I started feeling quite faint. I realised, this is serious. And then it was when I got to the hospital and they chopped my clothes off me. It wasn't. This was perfect knife wounds. You know what I mean? So.
What do you remember seeing when you looked down?
I was just red. I remember just blood everywhere, and I can remember, and I still see him now to this day. It was funny enough, like I didn't remember much of anyone. I remember one face, one paramedic who I see him now, and I always go up to him and thank him. But then, not too long ago, I was out for food, and these 2 young ladies walked up to me. I said, "Do you remember us?" I said, "No, they were the 2 young ladies, the paramedics, that helped me and sorted me out." So I didn't have enough. I had so much respect and a lot of time for him.
Wow. So, I mean, knife crime is such an epidemic all over the country, really. I mean, London's probably the capital of knife crime at the moment, unfortunately. If you have a message to young men who are thinking of leaving the house with a knife today or tomorrow or the next day, what is that message?
Think of the impact on your life, your family's life. Before you think about anyone else, think about your family. Think about yourself, because the top bottom is you're going to jail forever. You go and stab someone, or you go into jail, you're ruining your life, you're ruining your family's life. Think of your mother. Most people out there love their mother. I know I do. So before any stupid decision, think of your family. And then if you have got a heart, think of the person, think of the victim, think of their families, their future. The knock-on effect of these things are ridiculous. So, I just think, use this before using any sort of violence. It's uncalled for, and people to bang on about circumstances in their life and the way they live. There's go and if you got that much anger towards someone, go and have a confrontation with them. I don't advise it. Go and have a punch up with them. I don't advise it, but if that's what it is. But
get the gloves and the head
guard. Get the
gloves.
Go down your local club. But knives. It's just a big no-no.
Okay. Well, look, lucky for you, obviously you came out of it and the other side of it kind of relatively unscathed. Any kind of physical ramifications from it? Was your leg okay and fully functional? And
it took a while. It did take a while, I came back in here, I spoke to the team, I spoke to the doctors and the physios and, Rob and the coaches, and, there was understanding, and, they helped me get through it. We have a great psychological team, which, really, really did help me and stuff. So it took a bit of time, but I come out good, and before too long I was back at it. I was full training again, and it was just put behind me to the past.
Scar on your neck has healed up really well. Just for people that don't know, obviously it's kind of down there under your jawline, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's healed up really. And the others, what are they? Top of the thigh?
Yeah, top of my thigh.
Okay, so they're covered by your shorts and stuff. We might get a couple of shots of them later on, just so people can see what the lasting damage is. But And then fast forward 4 months, I was sat on the rooftop in St Paul's with Boazzi, waiting to do some filming with you boys.
Yeah.
And you're a pretty punctual man, and I remember thinking, where's Frazer? He's like half an hour late, we couldn't get hold of you.
Yeah.
And then Boazzi, sometimes Boazzi asks like funny questions, and he went, Chris, are there always this many helicopters above London? And I was thinking, what are you talking about? And I looked, and I was thinking, that's like all the helicopters. That's as many as we've got. And then we checked the news, and of course, it was the Westminster terrorist attack.
Yeah.
You were in town due to box Thursday night. You did box Thursday night. This was the Wednesday. And you were on a tour of the Houses of Parliament when this attack happened. Just talk me through that day from a first eye point of view, everything you saw and remember from that day.
So, real strange one. As normal as a day when you're doing the WSB as it can get.
It's a media day, isn't it? Before
media day, you go and you do a bit with the local, maybe some kids out of the community, or some just in general, in stuff with the community basically. We're in the House of Parliament. We've done a little press conference. English team, Italian team, just to give nothing out of the ordinary. And I can remember walking through on the way. We walked through. It's like an art gallery in there. There's a load of pictures and stuff. So we're walking through, and on the way there, and it was the way back. We came out. We was going out, and I can remember I was with Canon French, Pat McCormack. We're walking out. We're just having a laugh as we do. We was ahead of everyone, us three. We wanted to get out there. It was red hot, baking hot. We just wanted to get back to the hotel, want some food. Next thing, here, the only thing I can describe is a car crash and a scream, which is it's on the other side of a big fence with conifers in front, so I can't really see much. I didn't think too much of it. I thought, oh God, you're in London, busy, someone's come off the bridge, crashed the car, someone's been hurt. Carry on, we're just floating around, walking towards the gate. See a lot of people running, rushing. Again, you're in London, everyone runs, everyone rushes. But then, still walking, 3 boxers, oblivious to everything and with not a care in the world. A police officer starts running past us, a couple of police officers. Carry on walking. Get to near the gate, and there's no way to butter it up. Someone comes around the corner with 2 knives, big kitchen knives, so that's the way I can describe them. Rambo things.
Oh, machetes kind of thing.
Sort of like, I don't even know what there was, and I think, oh God, there's been something's bad happening here. The police officer got the one that God rest his soul, Keith Palmer, I think his name.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
He somehow ended up getting tangled up with the fella, but the fella was 2 hands. He was ripping into. They ended up getting untangled. At this point, it's like going in slow motion. The police officers ran off, and I can remember running past me, and he just fell on the floor, boom, right there. My coach, Tony Davis, come out. I seen him. I can remember him hopping a fence.
Because he was a former army officer,
Yeah,
Tony, right?
He's hopped the fence. He started treating the officer on the floor. At this point, before this, this is. I can remember a gentleman in a long black coat. He's walked up, just calm as anything, pulled out the whap, bang, bang. It happened that quick, like that.
So all of this happened in what? A minute?
Yeah, if that. At this point, I'm thinking he'd just gone mad. He's on the street. I didn't know where he was from, didn't know what was happening. Next thing, the police are coming and rushing us inside, and right, this is now a lockdown area. Mate, I'm boxing tomorrow, mate. I need to go and get some food. No, you got to stay in here. There's children there on day trips. There's families. There's everything in there. There's people in suits. Didn't think nothing of it. Next thing, obviously, everyone's on their phones. I am hearing screams. They told us what had happened on the bridge, on the news. I told my mum I was going to the House of Parliament that day.
Oh.
So I'm getting a phone call come through. What's going on? Her mum, I've just seen, I think 2 people get killed. Anyway, next thing, this is how I got that intense. Everyone's phone is gone dead.
Well, because we tried to call 6 or 7 of you, and all of your numbers were going to the same dial tone. So they scramble your phones?
Everyone's phone, no one's phone, the whole thing, everyone inside.
Yeah.
No phones, no TVs. Nothing was working. At this point, I'm getting quite worried now. There's armed officers coming in. There's people with mirrors under tables. There's people checking light sockets, plug sockets.
Fucking hell.
And I'm thinking, what is going on here? Anyway, we're in there like 9 hours.
Yeah.
Obviously, we find out what happened a little bit later on. The phone signals come on, and it's just, it's just horrendous to see. And at this point, Tony's still outside, and I'm just thinking about where is Tony? Where's my coach?
Yeah.
We're waiting on the bus, and then he comes back onto this bus. He walks back onto the bus, and he's just grey. He is grey. He informed us that the officer died.
And he's a hard man, Tony, right?
Hard man. Very, seen a lot.
Seen a lot.
Seen a lot. Credit to Tony. He jumped straight over that barrier, did what he knew, tried to save the officer's life. Obviously, the paramedics were soon on the scene. Unfortunately, he died, but it was just a bit surreal, and it's sort of been forgotten in my head. But when I do talk about it and think back to it, I can't believe I was in the mix of that.
Did it not quite register with you what you'd seen?
Oh no, not until after. I can remember the Pat McCormack. Whoa! What's going on? Next thing I remember, the gunshots, bang bang. There's certain bits of it I can remember.
How does it make you feel now when you think about it? Has it affected you in any way?
No, it didn't. No, not really.
No.
At the time, maybe it made me a bit sad, but it made you a bit on edge at the time. But
yeah.
it was just, I'm very lucky, and there's a lot of people lost their life that day that shouldn't have lost their life, and it's just unfortunate. And I can't believe we boxed the next day. That's what thing I cannot believe we boxed.
No, I can't. What time did you get in that night or that morning?
Probably about 11 at night.
Was it okay?
Maybe 12.
So did you? Because it was Italy, so you had Guido Vianello, didn't you?
Yeah.
Who's now a stablemate of Joe Joyce, straight in the
That's
pros,
it.
of course. And I guess you kind of know Guido to say hello to from tournaments and stuff.
No, we were actually friends. I've boxed him I've beat him 3 times.
Right, okay, so you go as far as to say...
Yeah.
Did you kind of speak to him and say, what do you want to do? How did the decision come about between you and Italy as to box the next day?
Well, we got asked, and obviously I'm with me. I think that day boxing was me, Callum French, Pat McCormack. We had one Bulgarian kid and someone else.
Yeah.
Well, I knew Pat and Callum. They're from Berkeley, mate. They're tough as... They're hard as nails, mate. Nothing phases them. But yeah, we want to box. We've trained hard. We've made weight. We're boxing. I'm not going to disagree. Let's get it on. I'm not sure what the other 2 fellas said, but we was happy. Then they went to the vote to the Italians. They were happy. That was it. We was doing it, and it was a bad performance from me. I can remember it. I won the fight, but
you got knocked down in the second.
I got put down. It was a bad performance, and I'm not saying it had anything to do with that, but I'm sure it didn't help. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it was a good shot. I remember it. It wasn't very...
Yeah, I was moving forward, and it just glanced me. I walked into it.
Yeah,
right, and
I missed the shot. I literally looked away to chat to somebody, and as you hit the deck, and I remember you looking at your corner. Who was in your corner?
Lee Pullen.
And I can just remember your face. You looked at him as if to say, don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I remember it because I can remember hitting the floor. Before I looked at Lee, obviously you hear the count. My dad was in the crowd, and I knew where he was, so I looked up.
Or maybe it was that was him that you looked at. Yeah,
and he was there, and my dad's. I've got so much respect for my dad, and he's a very serious man. So I looked at him, and within a second, he looked at me and just said, "Up," and that was it. You know, so obviously, my experience let me. I got to the one knee, got to the like 7. I was up. I was fine to carry on. Come back and won the rest of the round, and won the other 3 rounds, and that was it. Won the fight.
Unbelievable. Couple of days, and obviously, as you say, a tribute to Keith Palmer is the reason you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Did it.
What a guy, because I do believe if it wasn't him, there would have been a lot more deaths on that day. Yeah.
Wow. And then fast forward another 8-9 months, 2017, the World Championships. So you finally get your opportunity to go to the Worlds. Where else did you win that year?
Well, we just gone to the Europeans. We just gone to the Europeans.
Yes.
And so we're at the Europeans. During the fight with Guido, boom, I bossed my hand. But I'm managing it because we've got the Europeans coming up not too long. I need an operation, but I'm managing it. And then it's sod's law. We're at the European Championships. I'm feeling great. I'm fit. I'm lean. My weight's good. My fitness is good. I've been sparring unbelievable. the most ridiculous things happens in the world. We're warming up in a gym, just like normal. A football comes out. Me and the lads were having a little kick about, a little warm up, mess about thing. The ball gets thrown to me. I'm backing up. I slip. Oh, and all hell broke loose.
Your hamstring went.
My hamstring detached from my leg. I just heard a big pop, and I can remember it took my breath away. And one of the trainers, Gary Hale, was close to me at the time. He looked at me, and I can just remember the worst pain I've ever been in my life.
It's awful, isn't it?
It was like
it's like a gunshot, isn't it?
I can't really describe. I can remember the pain, by far the worst pain I've ever been through.
Oh, wow.
So I'm on the floor for an hour and a half. I cannot move. I've got people around me, paramedics around me, physio around me. We end up strapping it up anyway. Ian Gatt strapped it up for me. Filled me with codeine, filled me with all the top painkillers we could get. We've gone to sleep. I'm meant to be boxing in 2 days' time. I'm thinking, I can't box. I woke up in the morning, I'm hobbling in the long, and I'm thinking, right, to qualify, I drew the Poland first. To qualify for the World Championships, which is in 4 months, I didn't know the extent of the damage this time. I think I pulled my hamstring.
Yeah.
I woke up in the morning, my leg's black. Blood from inside ran down my leg. Ian strapped it up. Everyone's thinking, oh, he ain't gonna fight. I said, Ian, strap this up for me again. Get some more pills down me. I'm gonna box. I'm gonna qualify for the Worlds. Then I'm gonna pull out. Of course, I've qualified. We go back to the ranch. We heal up. We go, we get right for the Worlds. No problem. It's your decision. It's your leg. So I've got through these ropes. I've got one hand as well, so I'm on the pads warming up. I cannot use this hand to warm up with because it is really painful. I'm just on the pads with the jab. I can't move because I've got one leg. I'm hobbling to the ring. Well, someone else. I've got past the doctor in the morning. To pass the doctor, I have to get up and sit down on this chair. I can't bend my leg. I'm sitting down, one-legged squat, straight leg out, gone down to this chair. He's not noticed anything. How are you? So you're all right?
What,
Yeah.
He didn't.
There's nothing on the legs really. You okay? Yeah. How you feeling? Yeah. Check. Yeah. I've hobbled out. Fucking hell, passed. The warm-up, horrendous. I'm touching it. I've got a jab. I'm just jabbing a pad with Tony Davis. I can't move. Funny, I've got my legs strapped up under my shorts. I can't walk. I'm literally being carried, hobbled into the ring. Gets in there. You work with what you got. I'm on one leg, I'm jabbing, I'm throwing the right hand. Once you're in there, your adrenaline's going. Your hands are, if you've got a hand injury, once you're in there, you just let it go. Survive it.
You feel it the next day.
Someone's trying to take your head off. So I wins the fight. Unanimous. And that's it. We got in the dressing room, legs still hurt, and gone back to the hotel. I'm having constant attention on it. I'm having, no one knows the extent of the damage. I'm getting it taped up, massage on my lower of my leg, ice, painkiller. Right, that's it. You don't need to box again. I look at my draw. No, I can beat this kid. I'm going to box. I can beat him. I've gone in. I've won. Same thing happened the next day. You don't need to box anymore. I'm in the quarterfinal. Next fight, I've got a medal. I'll go in again, box, win. Same thing happens the next day. This was the semi-final. I've won the semi-final. One leg, one hand. Yeah. I'm in the final against the Ukraine super heavyweight. I know he's a little bit better than the rest.
He was, yeah.
So then, I give him a good fight in the final.
It wasn't even that.
It was a little bit in. There was two shots in the second round which won in the fight.
Yeah.
So we had a real good fight. I came away with a silver medal. We've come back to England. I'm happy as Larry. I've got a silver. I shouldn't have even competed.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing all that training, getting over there and doing nothing. I ring up the guy at Sheffield. I said, right, I need a scan on this leg. It's still black. It's killing me. I can't walk. Can't get up the stairs at home. No problem. So I go for this scan in Sutton Coldfield. I can remember being in there. You go in the machine, the CT machine, I think it is.
Yeah.
There's all the banging there. 20 minutes. You got the earphones, and I come out, and I can remember coming out and. The woman, the doctor's face, she said to me, I remember she says, darling, you've really, really hurt your leg, You don't think too much of it. I'm thinking, all right. That's it. As I'm going, put your socks back on and whatnot. So I've got everything back on. She walked into the room to me. She goes, "You going for an operation?" I said, "What operation?" I said, "I thought I pulled my hamstring." She goes, "It's off. It's done. It's bad."
detached.
Yeah. This still means nothing to me. Then I get a call off Mike Loosemore. Go home, get a bag. You're going to London now. This is 6 o'clock at night. What?
Wow.
How am I going to get to London? I'm in Burton-on-Trent. You need to get to London. Hotel's booked. I was in the hotel, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm up. Hospital over the road. I go to the hospital, 6 o'clock, I'm on the operating table. It's put back together. He then shows me a picture. The surgeon comes in and shows me a picture. And above the picture, he just says, it was completely off. And
Wow.
that put me out for a long time. I had the operation and the rehab. And then I have to be gutted. I missed the Worlds. All the lads go to the Worlds. I went out there still, whatever I could do, I could. At this point, I was massive. I was lifting weights. Couldn't do it. I
remember,
pumping. I've gone massive. I went and watched the lads at the Worlds. Gutted. I've missed another one. Next thing, Commonwealth Games. So we just build along Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just talk to me about, because we're going to wrap up in about 3 or 4 minutes, but just talk to me about the final of the Commonwealth Games. Everything that we've just heard in this sort of short story has happened to you over 10 years of ups and downs and, so nearly getting there but not quite getting there. This was your chance to, for the first time in front of the world on the BBC, get to a major tournament final and show what you're made of. You get through the first 4 contests, you get to the final. Talk me through it, because I was watching this from the comfort of my lounge, jumping around like a madman, because I knew what it meant to you. And everybody on the squad, I know if they could pick one person to win the gold medal at that Games, it would have been you. Talk me through the rounds and when you heard the decision.
Well, so the semi-final, I end up boxing another one of my friends. You meet that many friends through boxing. The New Zealand Patrick Melita.
Yeah.
We have a right go at each other. I win the fight. Took too many shots. Bear in mind, I still don't think I've got back to my best. The form I was in 2014, 2016, I'm still not back there now. Commonwealth Games, I was coming off the injury. Didn't box for a year. Got back into training. I had one fight in WSB against Guido Vianello. Went to Italy, beat him. Then 2 weeks later, I'm flying out to Australia. So these fights happen, and we have that semi-final. Obviously, you watch what your opponent's doing. I remember the Indian Kumar. He's boxing someone in the semi-final. The kid gets cut in 30 seconds, and he's already got a cut from this fight before. 30 seconds to fight, he's been hit on it. Fight's over. He's had an easy semi-final. So he's fresh. The next day, we're going again. I boxed late at night. I had a right tear up, and I'm boxing tomorrow against a kid that's fresh. So
sore and tired.
I knew he was going to be. I boxed him before, bear in mind, 2015 Olympic qualifier, Olympic event. Like pre-Olympic
test event
in Rio. So I boxed him there, beat him comfortably. I knew he was going to come and put it on me. So we've had a tough fight, and he was getting it in. He was closing the gap on me, and I had to work inside. And people are looking like this, and at the end of the fight, I've raised my hand. I knew it was close. I thought this is a close one, but I felt like I'd winning every round. I was getting the more cleaner shots. We've then, I've gone back to the corner. During the fight, my gum shield comes out. I've gone back to the corner, put my lace on my lace comes on. Put my lace on the side. I remember Paul Walmsley's time my lace said, "You got to think you're a little girl now. Go out and win this round." I've gone out like a madman. Bang, 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 bang. End of the fight's calm. I'm there, for breath. Everything's slow motion, quiet. And what corner was it? What corner was it now? Blue corner. The winner in the blue corner. You look down because you forget what corner make sure. Weight off my shoulders. I walk around the ring, and then I think I just want to come off Games. I started doing a weird. Like Jamie Carragher when Liverpool won the Champions League, the weird skippity thing.
We had him on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm doing a weird skippy thing, and it was just brilliant,
There's an amazing shot from above, bird's eye view of you, kind of like just hands on your knees, bending over, like as if it's just all the emotion, all the release come out.
Finally, something has gone my way. So that was a really proud moment for me, and but I also knew at the same time I needed to improve. I need to get that Frazer Clarke from the Commonwealth Games doesn't win an Olympic medal.
Right.
So it was time to get back. These guys are the most honest guys in the world. I come back in the gym. Rob says to me, "Well done. You wasn't very good." I had 2 weeks off. I've had smoke blown up my arse for the last 2 weeks in my hometown. Come back in the gym. Rob
Back
goes,
to reality.
"You're not very. That wasn't very good. You need to be a lot better." So we go to work again. And that's it.
Mate, listen, I just want to wish you the very best, because I hope that everyone who watches and listens to this just has got a small idea, if they didn't before, of what you're all about. And we'll maybe come and catch up with you again a little bit closer to the time around the qualifiers and some of the other boys and girls as well, because I think it's going to be potentially one of our strongest teams we've had in recent years, maybe since.
I think so.
Since London.
I think I've seen three Olympic squads.
Yeah.
For me, this is the best.
Yeah, agreed. Well, listen, mate, the next 360 odd days, I just want to wish you the very, very
Appreciate
best
it.
of luck.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on,
So
mate.
much, man.
And we'll catch up with you again soon, all right?
Thank you, bro.
But before we go, I've got here the 32-second challenge with 32 Red. Now, you might have seen this, so quick word association. I'm going to read you a list of words. I want you to tell me the first thing that comes into your head. Burton ABC.
Frazer Clarke.
Your boxing hero.
Muhammad Ali.
Missing out on the Olympic Games.
Gutted.
Tokyo Olympic Games.
Excited.
Winning Commonwealth gold.
Amazing.
Winning Olympic gold, what would it mean?
Dream come true.
Sparring Anthony Joshua.
Hard.
Anthony Joshua the man.
Gentleman.
Small boxing shoes.
Bad feet.
Being stabbed.
Unfortunate.
Westminster Bridge.
Devastating.
Death.
Coming to us all.
Rob McCracken.
Legend.
Being a security guard, something we didn't talk about.
Very enjoyable.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll talk about that another day. Big Joe Joyce.
Juggernaut.
And EIS.
Home.
Frazer Clarke. Absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very, very
No
much
worries.
indeed. Another episode of TKO done and dusted. My thanks to Big Frazer Clarke. We'll be following his journey in the run-up to Tokyo. And we will be in Philadelphia next week as Carl prepares for his fight on August the 10th. We will see you in Philadelphia.
You've been watching TKO on Joe, together with 32 Red.